It's the difference between seeing, the Mona Lisa in person versus, a lithograph.
Hey everybody, I'm Patrick Tommaso. I'm here in the TIFF technical booth right ahead of the 70mm projection of Brady Corbet's The Brutalist. And the reason I'm up here is because I want to learn a little bit more about 70mm and VistaVision and what goes into projecting a movie like this. Here's my chat with Brady Corbet. Can you tell me a little bit, because there's been a bit of misconception between VistaVision and 70mm, right? Because now that you shot in 70mm, you shot in VistaVision, which is different. Can you explain that process?
A traditional 35mm camera pulls film through the gate vertically. But with VistaVision, it's horizontal. So, I kind of need both hands to demonstrate. Instead of it being pulled through the gate like this, it's pulled through the gate like this, which creates a much, much wider field of view.
Cool.
It's 8 perforations versus the traditional 3 perforations or 4 perforations. So it's double the image capture.
Cool.
So 70mm is the only way to see what's on the neg. And so a 35mm print, even though it's beautiful, is down-resing the quality of the image. So 70mm is the only way to see everything that's there.
And so forgive me if I'm wrong, does it also mean that the field of view with VistaVision is similar to like a full frame camera, right? Like a stills camera.
Yeah, that's right.
And so when you're shooting 50mm, it's actually 50mm what you would know from a stills camera. It's not a crop factor by any means.
Yeah, there's zero image distortion.
Cool.
For example, you could be physically very close to a building, and with a 50mm lens, which is generally what you would shoot a portrait on, you can still see from the ground, to 6 stories above. So from the ground to the sky. So it's very, very good for architecture. It's very, very good for images of bridges, like the iconic shot from Vertigo of the Golden Gate Bridge. That's sort of VistaVision at its finest.
I've heard you say before, and it was sort of inspire other filmmakers, grab a film camera and even natural light, and it's pretty magical.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you also feel that in terms of projection versus digital projection, in the sense that there's a magic and a tangibility to this that we don't experience?
Absolutely. Listen, DCPs it's like a giant laptop, and it's no surprise that images, when they look like that, I don't think viewers are encouraged to get off their couch because they can experience a smaller version of that at home. The beauty of 70mm is that, and it's heavy, it's difficult to project. There's only a handful of folks in the world that know how to do it, but it really is the best there is. Large format is our best tool, and I really think that it's the future of cinema, even though it's actually been around for 75 years. There's nothing quite like it. You don't know what it is until you see it, and then when you see it, it's so incredibly enveloping and majestic and rich. It's the difference between seeing, the Mona Lisa in person versus, a lithograph.
In terms of other, because you've shot on VistaVision, you're now doing 70mm, are we going to see Cinerama somewhere?
It's a good question. I'm doing my next film on an 8-perf 65mm camera, and so I'm definitely continuing to work with large formats. I loved working with VistaVision, but I'd like to try something new.
I also heard you talk about when you shot VistaVision, one of the challenges was because it runs horizontal, there's some tracking shots in The Brutalist where you're going upstairs and stuff like that, and the film would go from one side to the other, which would mess with the Steadicam, right?
Exactly. As film gathers on that side of the magazine, it starts to tip the Steadicam. The camera was invented long before Steadicams were around, so we had to figure out a sort of counterbalance system, which was very crude. And only worked sometimes. But we really, very keen to use the format in ways that it had never been used before.
And it shows up on screen. It's my favorite movie of the year, maybe the decade.
Thank you so much.
I absolutely love it. Your love for film is so infectious, and I see it on the screen.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited for what you do next, and I really appreciate you chatting about your movie right before it plays.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you guys are showing it this way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope you found this interesting in terms of what it takes to project 70mm and the difference between VistaVision and 70mm and Brady Corbet's love of cinema. I strongly encourage you to try and see The Brutalist in 70mm, but if not, just try and see it on the biggest screen possible. If you like film content, make sure you subscribe to TIFF, and if you want more about the magic of making movies, subscribe to my channel, which is Patrick Tommaso. Cheers.